It was the best of games. It was the worst of years. Game of the year 2020. Press B to cancel.
Perfect. Nope. See, we almost had it. We almost had it. We were, you know what? It was quiet, and I'm like, nah. He's finally grown past this joke. It's no longer fun. No, he's moved on, and you're right there, son of a bitch.
And it's funnier than ever.
Today on
This week, we're going to be talking about all of our personal games of the year for 2020. The entire council is here this week. There is myself, Werewolf, and I'm joined by Polish109.
Craig. What about Craig?
Is that what you're going by now?
No, I'll go by Polish109. Hi, how's it going?
There's Guy Prime of the Retrotherapy.
Hello.
And
What about Dave?
And the ever bassy Sick Jake.
Do I have to look this up now? Am I attacked? I feel attacked.
No,
That's a compliment.
you just got that sexy bassy voice.
Yeah. You're so bassy, we're going to start calling you Count. You're welcome, jazz community. I made a jazz reference.
What does that even mean?
Right over my head.
Yeah.
Count Basie? Nobody? That's fine.
Yeah, that sounds vaguely familiar. Anyway, yes. I'm with Polish on that one.
Sports ball.
So I suppose we should start with... Should we start with our runner-ups first?
Well, what are we doing? First off, we gotta explain what we're doing.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's yeah, we're not talking about game of 2020 specifically. We're talking about our game of the year that's new to us this year. So it could be a 2020 release. It could be a 1988 release. Doesn't matter. If it's new to us this year, it qualifies for being in our game of the year for 2020. Nobody else wants to flesh that out anymore? That was good, I guess?
Long story short, we're doing what we did last year. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and actually, just to say, how amazing is it that this is our second Game of the Year episode? That's pretty awesome.
Seriously.
Yeah, I'd be more impressed with it if we hadn't been doing the podcast for 8 years. But yeah, it's great.
Well, somebody had to break away and do a solo album, and then have a rehab for a few months. Otherwise, we could start sooner.
I don't know if this is the one, but if this is marked as episode 60, this is actually our 64th episode.
Oh.
Because we
65th.
we had
64
4 marked as tab B.
Yeah.
And then we stopped doing that.
Right.
So secretly, it's our 64th episode.
Let that be a lesson to any future gaming podcasts. Like carrying that torch. Stick with the same fucking name.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't try to be cute and
Ouch.
come up with various brandings for the same podcast. It's too much
This is
work.
press B to cancel _
It's not as cute as you think. Yeah.
Now we're stuck with it for 60 days. There goes our CO.
So who would like to start on this one?
I'll do it. All right. I'll break the ice here with you guys so you guys can know what's going on. My runner-up for 2020 has nothing to do with 2020. My runner-up is something we've already talked about, and I feel guilty because I'm going to talk about it again, but it's Stardew Valley.
Oh, my God.
Ask me why.
Why?
Por qué?
Why do you like it?
Ygrigas.
The fuck does that mean?
It means the letter Y.
Oh.
It means baggage. That's ikipahe. Ikipahe is never mind.
I thought that was like Tiki Tiki Tembo. No, sorry.
So Stardew.
Yeah, I put this game off for I don't know how long, man. My friend gave it to me maybe like 2016 or something like that, and I tried it. I started the farm. I realized that it's like, it's one of those, there's no end to this. There's no way to beat it. And so I never touched it. And then mid-pandemic, I started playing it with friends, and I won't play it solo, first off. I'm just going to say. My game of the year runner-up is Stardew Valley Co-op 2020. Because of that. No, it's just been fun. It's one of those things where I just wanted to shut my brain off. It's kind of like World of Warcraft, where it's like, I want to just fart around. I want to lose some time, and this like, oh, next thing you know, it's 4 hours, and I just liked it. No, it was just a very soothing game. There was a lot more surprises in it than I thought there would be. The dialogue was a lot more entertaining. There were more adult themes in there than I expected. I wouldn't call it an adult game, but it's kind of like watching Animaniacs or The Simpsons as a kid. And one of the jokes you hear, there's a joke, but it flies over your head, but you laugh anyway because it's just the way it's phrased. It's like, okay, cool, I like that. So it was just satisfying to see that. It was a breath of fresh air in something where I was playing a lot of the same games. So it was just something different, change of pace that I really liked. Also, I love Jody. Sorry to my wife. Can't remember her name again.
Was it Haley?
Not Haley.
Not Haley. Was it Haley's sister?
Not Robin. No.
Not the blue hair. Was it?
She's the teacher one.
Oh, Penny.
The teacher was.
Penny. Thank you.
Oh,
I love you,
Penny.
Penny. So yeah, I've been out of it for a while, okay, but no, it for me it earns Game of the Year. I really liked it. It's a cheap game and there's a lot to it. Yeah.
So just to make sure I'm understanding, because I'm a little confused here. Your Game of the Year has a mode that you refuse to play and characters whose names you don't remember.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That's how much I enjoy this. It's one of those things where there's something for everyone,
Yeah, that's awesome. And everybody loves that game. Like I still haven't played it, but I remember the episode that we recorded over it, and I don't know, it's on my radar. But I love that you love it.
That's fine for me. It's my Game of the Year, so god damn it.
I thought we were doing runner up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was my runner up. God damn it.
Shut it down.
Professional as always.
Sorry, dude. Got a little excited.
Bringing our B game every time.
Yeah, that's us.
Bolsh's Outbreak, brought to you by the testosterone gel that you put under your armpits. Good to see that's working for you.
This deodorant, GP. By Retro.
Trademarked.
See, now it's going to be there for everything.
Yeah, now it's memeified. It's a good game, for sure. I think you're right.
I enjoyed what I played of Stardew. I just never got far enough to beat it. I played like halfway through what one would probably consider the story like 2 or 3 times. Damn, I'm just getting crickets every time I speak tonight. What is up?
No, I think you're cutting off.
Thank God it's not just me. You cut out on me too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, same.
I was saying that I've gone through the story like halfway about 3 times. That's what I was saying.
Okay, yeah.
So should we laugh so that we can just edit this to where...
Well, so Stardew is amazing as a game because from like when you're right when it surprises constantly, just the fact that you think it's a farming game and then you're going into a cave or a mine and killing monsters, and you have characters who are like I think she's like the unknown daughter of the wizard in town or something, which is again to say there's a wizard in a game about farming. It's nuts.
Yeah, I already do
It's a really great game. I do like it.
And it's not like 90210 levels of like teenage drama kind of crap either. It's just entertaining.
Yeah.
So that's my runner up. It was probably, if it wasn't for my actual choice, then that one probably would have took it.
That is the definition of your runner up. Had it not been for first place, this would have been the winner.
You're not wrong.
I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying, like, I think that's how you know that you're
Jake, what's your
good.
runner-up for 2020?
To be fair, I think 2020 has proven to us that not everybody thinks that way. So, anyway, let's go ahead and move on to Jake's runner-up. What you got for us?
Well, I mean, so for this past year, one of my choices is
Double Dragon for the Sega Master System.
look, it's a good game. Look, not this year.
No, it is a good game. I'm just saying.
But I have one is a modern game, one is a retro game. So my runner-up is a retro game, and like I picked up the Mister this year, but there's one thing part of that Mister I kind of miss from just doing desktop emulation, and that was retro achievements. Right, I was never huge into retro achievements. I kind of pick the games I want to do carefully, like Cookie Clicker, which is a homebrew classic, and 10,000 presses. That badge was mine. But I missed Chivos, right? So the one game that I'm actually good at is Tetris. I love Tetris. And going back to a kid, I loved having that original Game Boy. And I only really had Tetris for the first year, and I loved the hell out of that game. So there's an achievement set for it. And I got almost all of them. I only have one Chivo left in Mode A, which is like the one where it's just the speed lines. I need to get 200,000 points. It shouldn't be as hard as it is. I'm close. I know I can do it. But I've been in the mode of, I know I can do it for 9 months this year, playing Tetris.
I was going to say, I'm having deja vu all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, anyway, I love Tetris. And chasing the Chivos this year on my little retro handheld I picked up is amazing, and that's my runner-up. There's a few games this year I put more hours into than Game Boy Tetris from 1988.
All right, so I need to, before I have an aneurysm, I need to mention this. Years and years and years ago, back when I was a kid and couldn't discuss certain things, you speak in code. Anyway, Tetris.
2015, okay.
Tetris was code for jerking it.
What?
So if you go back and listen to this entire conversation, this is the greatest conversation we've ever recorded. Yeah, me and a whole group of people, that was the whole thing, was code for jerking. It was just Tetris.
Wow.
And Sick Jake, I know you're in that mode of I can do this, and you're getting close. Just stick with it, buddy. I think you're gonna get that. I think you're gonna be great.
The amount of people who use Tetris to like work through grief, you have just destroyed that for them.
Or I've given them an outlet to be able to move on from that grief into the masturbatory phase, which I believe is one of the 5 stages.
To be fair, I was one of those people who used Tetris for that. So,
honestly, I haven't used it for grief, and I'm not talking in code. I'm talking the actual NES game. Whenever I'm like stressed and I need to take my mind off of what's stressing me, I will play Tetris, and it's very soothing, and I do enjoy Tetris. But I had to let you know about that, code from 1995.
And my runner-up choice this year is Double Dragon from the Sega Master System.
2 years running.
Speed running at that.
damn.
No, Brazil claimed that. They're so fucking good at it.
Jake saw them playing it and saw their numbers. He's like, nope.
It's brutal.
He takes out the Exploding Kittens card, just slams it on the table. Nope. I wanted to get one of those laminated just for that, but I'm not buying the deck for a single card.
I love you so much, Pulch.
Thank you. Tetris later?
Oh,
Tetris, no.
link cable.
Don't play co-op. Please don't play co-op.
I think it's versus.
I'm sorry, but in that context, I think 2-player Tetris defeats the purpose of Tetris, right? Then it becomes something else. I don't know.
It's a whole new challenge. I'd say that.
A whole new challenge.
This one is getting that little explicit tag. That's for sure.
We can cut out that entire section.
Oh
I'm
no,
so
we're
sorry.
keeping it. We're keeping it.
Oh, that's staying. I was just about to say, Dave's not here from Tadpog, but I feel like we've claimed his essence right now. So, Dave, if you're listening, thank you.
Oh. Who's next?
I get.
All right, GP.
Yeah, I'm exhausted too.
All right, so going into this, I know I had talked to Werewolf earlier today. Like, I have a feeling my winner is going to be the same as everybody's. Obviously, we're just doing runners up. And this is a pretty safe one. I think I'll probably get some groans from people for it, but I have had so much fun just wasting time doing this the last couple of months. And it's
Tetris?
Among Us. No, it's not Tetris. I have played this game till my hands are raw. No, it's Among Us.
I mean, if you're playing on a Genesis, that D-pad will wear your thumb out pretty quick.
Oh my god! But no, Among Us, from what I understand, Among Us has been around for a minute, but I just got to the game a couple of months ago, and it's something where like I usually get 1 or 2 rounds of it in a day, and I haven't streamed it, but we've done Discord hookups where we all get together and play it, and it's just it's so much fun, and I am of the ilk that loves board games that involve like a traitor or some sort of mysterious function. So when I heard about Among Us, I'm like, okay, it's the newest fad. I'm not going to pay too much attention to it because these things, come and go. And then it stuck around, and then my wife and daughter started telling me about it because they had played it together. And we were on vacation, so we're all in this hotel, and we're just playing Among Us on all 4 of our, my son's 5 years old. He has no idea what's going on, but he's just cracking up, and we're having a good time. But anyway, I love Among Us. I think people who play Among Us play it wrong, but I think that's part of the beauty of the game. You have people who actually have, like, strats that they try to use and different methods to employ with psychology, and then I go in, and really it's just whether or not I've been drinking. But anyway, Among Us, I think, yeah. Had it not been for my number 1 pick, I think Among Us would have probably been that game.
Isn't that the definition of a runner-up?
We've gone full circle.
You.
No. But yeah, I know Among Us, there's a lot of people out there streaming it, a lot of people playing it. I think it is absolutely charming and fun. There's wonderful character development. There's Cyan.
That deep orange lore.
Yeah, Red with the backstories. But anyway, it's impacted the pop culture, vernacular with sus and various things. I've told my kids they don't have chores anymore; they have tasks, and they seem to like doing that more. I know it's silly, but they do. And if I ever,
genius.
If I ever want to get my daughter's attention, if she's not listening, I'm like, "Yo, Sissy's acting sus." And she'll look at me. I'm like, okay, now you're listening. And I don't know. It's fun. It's charming. It's silly. And of course, being the imposter is, if you're playing with a group, of course you shouldn't do it in the same room because, people can figure it out more easily. But it's hard to like not let that smile, that devious smile, crawl across your face like the Grinch when you see the word imposter show up on your screen. But it's fun. I love it. It's not it can be a thinking game or it cannot be. However you want to run it, and I love the fuck out of it. So if you haven't played it, play it now. Hit me up. We'll get a room. It'll be great.
Yeah, and always watch Sick Jake because, he was the first person to kill me.
Well, isn't that game where you were just walking around for 5 minutes not doing anything? Like, the opportunity presented itself.
You can do that. That's an option.
It's true.
Maybe you just want to play the sacrificial game, and it's just like, oh, we're going to vote and kick out the guy that's right. Looks like, no, I'm going to help with the...
Also, I'm not a very trolly person, IRL, but on Among Us, I've started doing that. Not in, like, a hateful way, but somebody will show up, with their name of, like, Not Sus. I'm like, oh, shit, hey, Not Sus. And they're like, oh, hey, do I know you? I'm like, oh, yeah, it's me from a couple weeks ago in room, QXP FES. And they're like, oh yeah, hey, what's that? And I just like to see how long people go with it. So, anyway, there are multiple levels of entertainment for the game, and I will shut up about it so you guys can talk about it.
I've seen you do that a few times. I always think that's pretty funny, especially when they're like, yeah, of course. They start rolling with it.
Right? They're nice.
They're just like, I don't know if they're just rolling with it to be nice, or if they're like, this guy's crazy. I don't want to upset him.
Well, there's a large number of people who just openly admit to playing the game high. They're like, I'm fucking stoned, dude. I don't remember you. And I'm like, it's cool, man.
Wow.
Should you be playing this game right now? And they're like, yeah, whatever. I'm at court, so yeah.
Making them feel guilty is the ultimate tactic in Among Us.
Right. So yeah, you can lie, you can be honest, you can argue, you can troll, you can just play it straight, you can run around for 5 minutes.
It's a game I would love to play more. I've only played it a few times so far. The wife really wants to try it too, but I feel like if we were to make it a family affair, we would obviously have to include the kiddo, and he cannot keep a secret for anything.
Yeah.
Today in class, his class's assignment was to draw pictures of a living creature, but not tell anybody so that they could sort of bring it up, the drawing, and let the class guess what it is. And he's talking to his teacher and says something about the puppy he's drawing while they're all drawing. And she's like, no, don't tell us. And I'm like, this is why we can't play Among Us.
I think like the brutal honesty in that game is hilarious because then people are going to think that, oh, this guy's finally lying, you know? So if you did that, I think that would make for really entertaining play, to be honest, because the game itself is simple, you know? For anybody who doesn't know, you basically have a handful of people who have to do around, not chores, but tasks, like GP.
Yeah.
And there's an imposter going around killing them, and you have to basically sneak by. Think of like The Thing from the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, you just try to take the place of the people and not get caught. And it's just entertaining because the tasks are simple. It's just click this, click that, drag this, drag that. Nothing is, you know, anyone can do it. It's very simple. Your grandmother on a tablet can do it. And then the real actual game is interacting with other people, and so that's the best part of it, because it's, in essence, it's almost a PvP game like that, but with mini games. So it's just win as far as I'm concerned.
And it's so funny to hear how frustrated and mad people get. Like, if you accuse somebody like Orange is Sus, they're like, "Oh, you shut the fuck up! There's no way! How dare you? How fucking dare you?" And I'm like, "Bro, this is the game. Like, grow some skin."
Some people take it so seriously, you can't help but laugh. The ones who are diehards.
Yeah, and that's the whole point, right? Like,
I don't understand the people who get angry at being suspected and all that. It's like the game will be over in 10 minutes and it'll be a new round.
But that's the other thing is, like, I'm not a very, like, trolly person, but I do sometimes, forgive me, like to make people rage quit.
Yeah, so be an asshole.
Morrigan from Puzzle Fighter. It's not whether I win or lose, just so long as I piss you off.
Yeah.
yeah, it's basically me in PvP matches in an MMO. I'm like, oh, someone starts insulting the teammates, and I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. So all of a sudden I'm a keyboard warrior, and I'm a very terrible DPS. Just saying.
Well, and I do have to give a shout out to some friends of mine, Sinistar77 and Sinstress77. They gifted me the game as a way of getting me in, because they had talked about it for a while, and I kept saying, yeah, maybe, I don't know. And then, you know, watching my wife and daughter play, and then, of course, Sinistar being like, well, here you go. It was a very kind a very kind gesture of kindness, and it was much appreciated. Changed my life.
Seneca's actually the one who gave me mine, Seneca Gaming.
Oh, he's cool too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Candlejack actually gave me mine,
See?
so I mean, this is the gift that keeps on giving.
Well, I guess fuck you all. I had to pay for my copy.
Okay, well, I will gift you a copy then.
I go away to Vegas for 2 weeks, and this is what happens.
Look, man,
That's it. You guys aren't invited to my Tupperware party.
I was about to say, I don't like supporting Tupperware that much. You can. You're a solid product, okay? I'll give you that, but
And microwave safe.
sometimes you're just overpriced.
Top rack dishwasher only, though.
Definitely keep the red sauces out of there.
All right, so yeah, that's my 20 minutes on Among Us. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to my runner-up. I was...
Werewolf, what's your runner-up for 2020?
You know what? I was mulling it over until after we started, honestly, for my runner-up. I had my GOTY chosen 3 days ago, but my runner-up, I decided a little bit ago, it's Streets of Rogue.
Yeah, you've played that a lot this year.
I have. And
I have too, because I've been playing with him.
yeah, so I played with Paulsh, I played with my buddy Rob, and I played with Draic a lot. And like between all three of them, I played a lot. And this is a game I also just kind of played by myself, and I also played it with my brother. Like this is a game that just recurred. If I didn't know what to play, Streets of Rogue was always an option and never disappointed.
Now, is that considered a roguelike or a roguelite or any of that other stuff that we talked about?
It's a roguelite, but it rubs some interesting funk on the ideas, and it also absolutely doesn't take itself seriously anywhere. So the game is just a never-ending stream of stupid gags.
Oh, man.
I need to play this one more.
It's very much one of those oh shit moment games. Like, did you see that? Oh, this guy just blew up that, or it's just so simple
There are
and fun.
moments where just out of nowhere, the building around you will erupt in explosions because of one little thing that one NPC did and another NPC didn't like. And now you just have to try and hopefully survive for the next 8 seconds while you escape the mess that's ensuing. And if you do, you're just so happy.
I gotta say, when I first played it, I was a little disappointed because Streets of Rogue, I'm like, cool, Streets of Rage, yeah. And it's not a beat 'em up. So I was like, what the hell is going on? And I got really confused. But I mean, every character that you play has different abilities. So every character you play is a different game in the same setting. So it's really cool because if you beat the game once as a doctor, then playing it as a vampire, it's a whole different ball game. It's kind of like real life.
Yeah, your methods of
Right?
survival change from character to character. Your methods of actually taking people down vary wildly from, some is literally run up to people and beat them up. Some is you physically cannot do that, and you have to find other more creative means to do it. So there's definitely a lot of variation, even more so with the DLC pack of characters. There's like 6 characters added down the line, and those change things up even further, where you end up like one of the classes is a courier. So you're running around basically doing Amazon deliveries in the midst of causing mayhem and killing people.
I love everything you're saying, yeah.
There's not a lot of games where you can basically be an Amazon delivery guy, a cop, an alien, and a mech pilot in the same game.
You actually get a mech?
Yeah, it's not massive, but it works like you would expect a mech to work. It's effective.
I don't think I've ever thought to myself, how would a mech work in a roguelike?
Well,
Oh man, you'd be surprised.
it's powerful as hell.
He's gotten us out of some crazy punches.
Yeah. It has lasers. You can't take it into buildings. Stuff like that.
This game is deep.
Yeah, I'm kind of taken by surprise. I thought you would have said Human Fall Flat or Resident Evil 19 co-op.
No, I got I got into Human Fall Flat like 2 years ago when it was still early access. So I can't really claim that one. I mean, it has its moments where I come back to it and I want to play it more, but it's nowhere near my game of the year at this point.
Yeah, I'm just saying that because we played it once and it was fun.
It was fun. It's definitely one of those games where as long as you're playing with people that don't get upset, Human Fall Flat is a fun one to just play, screw with your friends, and still try to accomplish goals.
So Among Us, basically. Gotcha.
Right, yeah. I was going to say college, but that's fine.
So yeah, Streets of Rogue, that's my runner-up for the year. Shall I go ahead and lead in with the my game of the year?
Before you do, I'd like to go ahead and stop for a commercial break. Okay, cool. Now we can edit something in there. Also, Werewolf, tremendous GG to you on all the AC Slayers for the Street Fighter Mortal Kombat. Ever since you sent us that for the approval, I'm like, well, we have to make mention of this on stream or on recording because it was just so good.
I want to admit that I was not initially going to do that. I was initially going to try and flesh out the whole Mortal Kombat college years idea.
Mm-hmm.
And just make that the thumb. And the whole time, like, I was loving the idea, but I was sad that it wasn't going to represent Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat. And then I was talking to Polish the other day while making the thumbnail, and I was like, oh my gosh, the picture I had to crop out. What's it, Mark Paul Gosselaar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, well, he's
Handsome
blonde.
devil.
I'll just make his outfit red, and he's Ken. And then I will just use Mario Lopez an 8th time.
An 8th time.
That's exactly what Midway said to themselves. We need more characters. We'll just use Sub-Zero for an 8th time.
Yeah, that's... No, don't worry. We'll change the color palette. It'll be great. Nobody will know. We'll call him Rain or some shit. It'd be wonderful.
Kids will love it. I do like Sub-Zero Lopez, though. That's gotta go on a t-shirt.
Sub-Zero Lopez. Oh, yeah, that made me cry almost.
All right. Sorry. I had to mention it. Show some love. Thank you.
Thank you
So
very
yes,
much.
Game of the Year. The
All
moment
right,
we've
so
all
my
been waiting
game of
for.
the year. Now, if GP is correct, this is what 3 or 4 of us have chosen. And for me, it's definitely got to be The Messenger.
Good choice.
This is
That's a
cool.
solid game.
I got something different. Yes, okay, keep going. Because I love this game.
So I absolutely loved this game. I played through it probably 7 or 8 times between Switch and PC this year.
Wow.
And I had so much fun with it. It was pretty wild. I know Jake and I did a whole episode on this where we just gushed about the game for like an hour and 8 days, but it was just so good. I really enjoyed it. Musically, it was perfect. The sound design in general was just great. The gameplay mechanics and feel. The controls were super tight. Everything just nailed it in this game. And then when you add in the DLC, it definitely gets a little more hit and miss with people. But I loved even the DLC. Just the whole thing, solid, top notch for me.
Yeah, I bounced off the DLC, but the game itself, you're right, is so fantastic. And like in terms of, we were saying surprising in a game, like those takes you by surprise. Messenger, when it starts, like classic Ninja Gaiden from the NES, and it does that twist halfway through, and just mind is blown. And where they take the story and stuff, it like full of humor, funny as hell, but that's how they're doing it. And it's really fascinating and such a great game. I can't wait to see what they do next as a studio.
They have an RPG in the works right now, a JRPG style game. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a Sun and Stars or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's based around characters that they sort of allude to in a shrine in the Messenger. So they're sort of fleshing out the Messenger's world in further games that they produce.
So JRPG, for anybody who's listening, is a jalapeno rocket-propelled grenade. And it's a fan favorite, especially as of late.
It's a bad time if you had it in Mexican food.
This episode now brought to you by X-Brand Bidets.
And chimichangas.
Together at last.
All hail the chimichanga.
But yeah, I definitely appreciate how deep they went with the story and actually made it feel meaningful despite the game not being serious for most of it. And then even more kudos to them wanting to flesh out the world that they created with further games that don't necessarily have much to do with the Messenger, but still sort of just expand on the greater Messenger universe, I guess. And I know the whole shared universe thing, some people get sick of it. I understand that, but it's an indie studio. It's literally the second game they're making, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
And like that's a lot to take on for a second game. I think the game is supposed to play like Chrono Trigger, but to take a first game's lore and build a second game that has nothing to do with the first game around ideas from the first game.
Yeah.
That's quite an undertaking, and I appreciate that they're doing that.
I think Among Us is doing that also, where they're like, Among Us Origins Cyan.
GP is sus tonight. Are they paying
I'm sorry,
you?
man. I'm just...
This episode brought to you by Among Us?
No. I just thought it'd be funny to mention how silly that would be if they had like an origin story for Cyan. As you were. Sorry.
I always thought it was Cyan. So, yeah.
Game Genie.
Game Genie.
I thought it was Cyanger.
Jake, what's your pick of Game of the Year?
Sounds like, no, you nailed it, though. Like, you got a full Tetris on that one, so that's good.
Yeah, you really T-spin that one. Oh, we're all losing the jokes this night.
No, I think it's become a competition. Like, it doesn't matter how funny the jokes are. I'm muting myself so that nobody feels like they've won.
Who can get the worst, most awkward silence?
Yes. And I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And Polish gets the final say because when he's in the editing process, he can just drop crickets in on some of them. Like, this was the one I hated most. We're gonna put crickets here.
Yeah. I'm already looking for cricket sound effects to edit. So. But Jake, please go.
All right. Okay, so for me, this is also theme of surprises. Never would have expected that this would be my game of the year. So yeah, my game was pretty surprising this year. I picked it up, almost just kind of like, well, I'm bored. It's $20. Why not? I'll give it a shot. And that was Hades. And I never would have dreamed that after spending $20, and for a game that I thought I would play for maybe 2-3 hours, I would dump like 70 hours into. I've played the hell out of
Damn.
Hades. Like, I put a lot of time into it. And it's
I see what you did there.
That's a great catchphrase, dude. For real. Like, I hope whoever developed Hades hears this because they need to market it that way. That was cool.
Well, I just think it's such a fantastic roguelike. Okay, I'll keep going.
That's another episode that we got to hear Jake gush on for a while.
No, hold on. No, so it's made by Supergiant Games, and I hope if people have not played Hades, that they've played their earlier games, Bastion and Transistor. Even if you don't like those kinds of games, the music alone for all their stuff is fantastic, and Hades is no exception. It's just the whole. We did do a whole episode about it, so I won't talk too much about it. But just to say, the Greek god drama, as if they were dysfunctional family, to just such epic music, combat that feels incredibly tight and within your hands, but like really well controlled, and just like 200,000 voiced lines of dialogue. This is an indie game for $20. Just amazing. I hope they do DLC.
How much does that work out to a word or a line?
Oh, I can't imagine.
0.010 cents, like a tenth or a hundredth of a cent per line.
So it's funny because the director or the sound guy, the what do you call it, composer, he voiced I think 3 of the characters in the game. So
I'm sorry. I want to be impressed by that, but I'm currently voicing every character in the Final Fantasy universe. So
You're right. My game of the year is GP.
oh shit. Is it because you've played me hard?
Not as good as the
There's a
Pulse
Tetris
system.
reference in here somewhere.
Is that a callback to Tetris?
It's a turn-based system.
No wonder Jake has no patience for it.
I'm done. GP, what's your game of the year?
Hold on. I wanted to mention, like, you listed off some Supergiant games. Nobody ever mentions Pyre.
Well,
That poor game.
I know. You know why? It's like a sports simulation game or something.
I always forget about it too, though. Honestly, like I just know that there's that other game they made. I had to check my Mind Palace for what it was called.
Look, I mean, even Bethesda has Fallout 76, so.
Yeah, but everybody remembers what that one's called. That's that's a testament to the Pyre wasn't necessarily a bad game. It was just kind of, it didn't make a mark. Like if it's a bad game, everybody knows it's a bad game. Period.
Like I did listen to the music from it because when I was researching for our Hades episode, so I listened to the soundtrack. When I looked at the game, though, I'm like, no interest. But the other 3, those are games.
All right, GP, you want to give us yours?
Yeah, I certainly do. Now, before I tell you what actually won it for me, I will tell you what I thought everybody was going to pick when I thought it was just Game of the Year. I guess I didn't really think it through as like the game that we've played that we liked, which obviously that's what it was because that's what we did last year. But you know that line in Zoolander where Hansel is like, oh, I love Bono. I don't really listen to his music, but I think it's great that he's making it. It's kind of that for my entry, and that is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Came out, I believe it was April of 2020, and it is so, incredibly anticipated over the past 23 years since it came out on the PlayStation 1. Basically, they've been talking about doing it, or there have been rumors about it since day one of the PlayStation 2. You know what I mean? 'Cause that came out and everybody's like, oh man, they need to redo it with better graphics. And then here we are 23 fucking years later. And, they finally released the first episode, which kind of sucks. But
It's still not done.
yeah, I haven't played it, and I probably won't until it comes out as a whole. Probably 2027, 2030, I would imagine. I'll buy a PlayStation 7 just for the collection. But no, it is one of those things where, if they were to come out and release the entire thing on PS5, I have no desire to buy a PS5, but I will do it for this one game. And I normally would feel embarrassed and ashamed to say that kind of thing, because that's just not who I am. But I will do it for Final Fantasy VII. I love the original. When I first played it back in 97, I was 13 years old, and the little bits that I've watched on other people's streams has been amazing. And I find myself just peeking in to be like, I just want to see it for a second, and then I have to tear myself away because it's just going to be great. But I am notoriously bad with episodic things that have cliffhangers or whatever, so I can't do it. But I think that would be the game of the year. But again, I haven't played it, so I talked too much about it already. My actual vote for game of the year, for anybody who's been by the retro... Are you okay?
Your timing is bad. Your timing is so bad.
What the hell did I miss?
Some back channel nonsense. I'll let you reveal yours, and then I'll tell you what was supposed to happen.
Are you okay, Paul? Okay.
Stubbed his toe.
I don't even know anymore.
Heart attack.
Werewolf, what have you done to me?
By retro. Okay. So no, for anybody who's been by the retro therapy, over the past 6 months, I've been doing a Final Fantasy 1 through 7 marathon. I grew up playing 4, 6, and 7, loved those, but I hadn't played the others. I knew a bit about 1 because I'd watched some of it growing up. I knew everybody hated 2, and I knew 5 was okay, but I knew nothing about 3. And having played through it, we played through the DS version on stream, but I've since gone back and played through the NES version. I cannot get enough Final Fantasy 3. And for the NES entries from the series, it towers above the other two in every category. And I don't know. I mean, yes, I wasn't crazy about the Precious Moments design of the characters for the GBA remake. But yeah, for me, Game of the Year. Best thing I've played all year that I previously had no idea about, Final Fantasy 3. If you haven't played it, find it, play it. It's awesome.
All right, quick aside.
Fuck.
What was supposed to happen there was I told Paul to yell, fuck, when you revealed yours like it was the one he picked too. I guess I didn't convey that well enough to Paulsh, and this is what we wound up with, which is probably arguably 100 times better than what I was trying to do, so it's fine.
On brand.
Well, you got my heart rate up. I'll say that. I thought something was wrong, and
I fell down the stairs, okay? Shut up.
Sorry.
Stair awareness 2021.
we are, yeah, between that and the underscore joke earlier, we're just hitting all of
so
my
sorry.
biggest fails this year.
Did you notice in the audiogram for the Final Fantasy episode what I did to your name?
No.
I put an underscore. Well, I put a hyphen because there's no underscore.
I think this is a great time for me to announce my retirement
So sorry.
from life. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'll record one of all the words in the dictionary, and you guys can have AI put something together with my... It'd be great. Nobody will notice.
GP is a Vocaloid. That's what those are called. Have you sing some J-pop?
Oh, man. If only I could be a J-pop
G-pop?
artist or a K-drama star, I'd be set.
Arthur, if you're listening, you're fantastic at the throwback retro music. How are you with J-pop? Can you do something with GP here?
How have I not started a recording album or like a recording label just called Underscore Productions?
One of your shell companies?
One of the show. Okay, yeah, write that down in the lore. We'll bring that up later. It'd be great. Okay, so yeah, those are my picks. Thank you.
Awesome.
Now, as another aside, you were gushing about Final Fantasy VII Remake for so long. I do want to mention, I know we've neglected it this year. We do intend to have an episode for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I just haven't managed to actually finish the game yet.
That's right, you bought it.
I didn't. My brother did. I have access to it.
Okay.
But I just haven't worked up the nerve to keep playing it. And I guess I'll get back to more of that when it comes to actually recording the episode. But it's coming this year at some point. 2021, it's going to happen.
Long story short, Werewolf doesn't think 7 Remake is Game of the Year.
There you go.
I just honestly, when I thought it was just going to be what's the overall Game of the Year, I think that's undeniable. I mean, not just given how important the title is in the history of video games, it was so anticipated, and then I don't know. To me, I think in the world, in the big picture of video games, I think 7 has to be Game of the Year.
See, Final Fantasy VII Remake and Blue Stinger really were giving Streets of Rogue a run for its money, but Streets of Rogue edged them out.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm surprised we didn't hear anything about Yakuza.
That would, more serious note, I had been considering Yakuza Kiwami, and obviously Blue Stinger was not one of them.
No, I always get those words, Yakuza and Jacuzzi, mixed up. And now I'm in hot water with the mob.
Oh.
See, that's a great place for crickets.
I think the groan is better.
Okay, I'm done talking. I'm gonna let everybody else finish their thing.
I never really got into that entry of Final Fantasy. I couldn't do it. I don't know. I think the longer I take to go back to older Final Fantasies, the harder it gets.
Well, it's not helping with Final Fantasy VII Remake either. So I mean,
to be fair, I've played through the original Final Fantasy VII twice, and I've made dozens of other attempts to get out of Midgar to no success because I just get tired of the game.
7 does have, because that's actually currently what I'm playing on stream, is the end of that 1 through 7 marathon, with 7. And at the beginning, like on day 1, I remember just saying, my biggest complaint about the game is there are so many long-winded parts that you can't just kind of skip through, There's so much lore, there's so much backstory, and it's all told beautifully, but once you've played it once or twice, you're like, oh, fuck, I gotta do this part again. And that's, to me, the biggest weakness of 7.
That's like the weakness of 7 for me, is like the whole game is basically, oh, fuck, I gotta do this part again.
Yeah, but see, 3 doesn't have that. Like, 3 is this interesting balance of story development, job class, and really, like,
precious moments.
Compelling, compelling characters. Interesting, world maps. There are multiple world maps. I don't know. There's just things that they've introduced to Final Fantasy that later on became staples in the series. And yes, it's kind of the first time they try it, so it's not perfect. But to me, it was so cool to be able to play it and be like, this is the first time Final Fantasy did this. They've since gone on to perfect it, but it's cool to know where the magic began. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Of the entire playthrough that we've done of 1 through 7, 3 to me was kind of like, that was the game where every time I had to raid or like quit streaming for the day, I was bummed, and I'm like, I can't wait to come back and do this again. And it was for the game as opposed to just being a part of a stream, which I love.
3 is the one that introduced the job systems completely, right?
Well, yes. The way we know it now, you could make the argument that the first one did, because you could pick your jobs there.
It's not the same though, because it wasn't really changing jobs, like building on the same character with a new job class and more skills and stuff like that.
Right. And so, yes, in that way you're right. And there's things that you can purchase in weapons and item shops and armor shops that are specific to careers or jobs or whatever. And then to me, I mentioned this when we were doing the review episode of my marathon, but there's an element in the story where they're talking about trying to prevent the world of darkness from overtaking the world of light, which is the one we exist in. And you have the 4 warriors of light, which again is a recurring theme in Final Fantasy. But then they talk about the Dark Warriors and how the world of dark is not necessarily dark as an evil as it's typically perceived as an archetype. Oh my God, that's the smartest thing I'm ever going to say. But it's just this counter side. Instead of being evil, it's just this other thing that exists and must exist. And you have to find the balance between the light and the dark. And it was just, for what it was it was great. And then I went back and played it on the NES, and that's when I really thought it was truly something special. The Game Boy Advance is nothing you haven't seen before. It's just got some good plot details, but to go back and see it fleshed out and all of its 8-bit glory was really special. So if you're going to try it on the NES. If you can't stomach the graphics, try it on the GBA, but just know it's better on the NES, and I will die on that hill.
I think I have it on Steam and just haven't done it yet.
I recommend it. Obviously, it's my goatee, so...
Yeah.
And the music is great, obviously, but we don't got to talk about that because it's Final Fantasy. It's going to be great.
I'll have to give it a fair shake at some point. I say that about so many games at this point. It's ridiculous. I just don't have the time in the world to go and give all these games I want to give a fair shake. Like, some of them just need a poke, and it's like, nah, I'm good.
Well, and I think there's probably a lot of people out there who are like that, who are fans of the Final Fantasy franchise, but they came in with like 7 or 9, and they don't have the interest to go back. But just to know that somebody out there thinks it's not complete shit is enough to help them sleep at night. So there we are.
I do want to go back and just let fans of Final Fantasy VII know that I don't think you're bad for liking Final Fantasy VII. Like, I know I shit on that game a lot, and that's just because...
Disclaimer.
Yeah, like, I don't want you guys to feel bad because I don't dislike people for liking Final Fantasy VII. That's just stupid to me. I get why people love it. It just... I got sick of it because all my friends loved it. That's kind of where I am.
Yeah, like I make fun of Jake all the time for liking Warframe, but I mean, I'll still play it with him if he ever gets around to it. So
It's all part of that backlog.
Yeah.
So Warframe's your goatee is what you're telling us, Paul?
No, but I'm glad you asked. God damn it, GP, you got me saying that now.
Actually, you know what? I forgot all about Warframe. If we did this 3-4 months ago, Warframe might have been it, actually. But I really fell off it hard after the last update.
Oh yeah, I know you got the Hades Tetris attack going.
Well, then I also have Yakovic 7, Legend of the Polka.
The Russian mafia game.
How's your wrist between Tetris and what was it? Yakov? Yeah.
Well, the important thing is in the game of Tetris is the T-spin with both hands.
Wow. See, that's some next level
Wow.
playability stuff. I don't even know if I have a technique anymore for Tetris.
Do you have to go to yoga for that or something? I mean,
Well, I was in Cirque.
I don't. It's true. That's true.
Fair point.
Well, anyway, I was never more interested in playing the Big 20 than I was this year because I saw Tetris on there. And I'm like, this is going to be a mess.
So many people complained about that. So many. I'm like, why? It's easy. 100 lines? Not Kirby. What's wrong with you people?
Just to show Jake's priorities there. I like it. Is it my turn now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, crap. Stardew. No.
Fuck.
Terraria.
Now that's timing.
You okay there, GP?
Yes.
No, I went with Terraria. I gushed about it. I got obsessed with it. It was just all encompassing, especially when lockdown first started, because I got to play with my friends regularly, and it was just like being a teenager again, except for teenager who could play online video games with his friends that he couldn't do as an actual teenager. So it was great. No, it just kept on. It was the gift that kept on giving, which is probably what I already said about Stardew too. But I don't know. It's just enjoyable. It surprised me again because there's kind of an end game to it. You can keep on going, but the credits, like when I'm just gonna say the last boss because there's actual bosses you can fight in that game. When you kill the last boss, it doesn't interrupt everything. The credits just start scrolling up in the background, and I thought that was just a nice touch. And you play the game like it's Minecraft, and just keep on going, and that's cool. But the fact that there was actually a sense of progression and it's not just build stuff and it's 2D Minecraft as I always thought, it really just blew my mind. So I went back to it just for something to do to keep myself busy, and next thing you know, I'm like, I'm making another world. I just really, really enjoyed it. So it was the time invested for how much I paid for it, or however maybe somebody else paid for it if somebody gifted it to me. I can't remember, but it's well worth it.
There used to be a website out there where you could go and like it would factor in when you got the game as potentially when like what the game was priced, and it would count how many hours you spent playing it and tell you how much value you spent per hour.
Wow.
I don't know if it's still around. I haven't. Last time I looked at that was 8 years ago or some nonsense like that, but I'm sure it's got to still be a thing.
Yeah, but MMOs have an unfair advantage for that, and I wouldn't agree.
Do they, though? Because you also have a subscription with those usually.
Yeah, it's true. Money-wise, it's not hard to get your money out of it. I mean, come on. Pay like $20 a month for a subscription, even to like old school RuneScape, which is a game that people are like, what is this? You have to pay to play this? All these ones, I think, you get a month out of it and you're playing it steadily, you got your money's worth. So it's,
Yeah.
I think it's the value and the cost for me is more of a financial thing more than actual incentive at this point. But I do like bragging and saying I got my money's worth when a game costs $5. I play it for 6 hours and then I'm just like, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I love Terraria. We played a couple times. Again, as always, I bounced off it, but the few times we played it was fun. I still remember getting teleported by Wolf into that cavern and drowning because he teleported me into the water.
Or, you'd just be mining, and I'd come mining into the cavern you were in, not realizing it, and there comes water coming down to flood
That's
you.
what it was.
I think I did that to you like 3 times, and only one of them was on purpose.
It's a game you play co-op for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a simple thing. I kept on going back to it, and for me, it was surprising because it's been around. I remember playing it in, was it 2012 or something like that, and I was like, no, I don't. I was playing it on 360, couldn't touch it, and had it on Steam for I don't know how long. And when finally I started playing with the games, I was instantly hooked. And I think unfair advantage with co-op games again for me, but that's part of the things I enjoy the most with modern video games is being able to play with my friends because, you guys are on different parts of the world last I checked. Except for Jake. Jake lives in an igloo too.
I don't know about you. I live in Lower Canada. Not part of that Upper Canada you live in.
You make it sound like we're higher class or something. No.
No, you're just in the part that's actually classified as the Great White North.
Yeah. Don't remind me. Can we go on to something else?
It makes you feel better. It snowed an inch today.
Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll shovel your driveway for you.
Yeah, that's to put to add a little perspective to Terraria. That's a game that had a lifespan that exceeded not only the time that the game was actually playable, but also the time in development. What was that MMO that everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is the WoW killer? And then they had to go free to play and it was still too late and it died.
Pretty much all of them, except for WoW.
No, there was...
EverQuest? Black Desert Online?
No, it was a space one. Terra? Was it Terra?
Ultima Online?
No, I feel like it
Eve?
was Star something. Not Star Citizen.
Oh,
Oh, no, that's still not out.
I think I know the one you're talking
That's
about.
never coming out.
It did not last long.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. But I mean, Terraria's just gameplay lifespan has been longer than most MMOs get. And we're talking AAA MMOs get in terms of development time and then also release window to shut down.
It's older than a console generation, right? Because that came out on the 360.
It did. It was developed with XNA, which was for the Xbox Live Arcade, I believe.
Yeah, that's how I first played it. And then, so it lasted 360, then Xbox One.
I'm trying to find the WoW killer on my Mind Palace.
I know. I was trying to look it up too. I have a friend who played it, and he kept trying to get me to play it, and I never did.
I mean, there's a few. Most MMOs now are dead, and the ones that are kind of mostly free to play. Black Desert's still popular. Eve is always been a separate thing. And then WoW, I don't even know how many years that is, but yeah. Ain't nothing killing that except for Blizzard.
Even then, people will complain about it, but they'll still play it. Like me. Actually, no, I don't complain about it. I'm loving the new expansion, but not game of the year. It's just personal experience. I'm just like, yes, this is satisfying because it's Death Knight related. So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of that game for the life. Oh, WildStar. I found it in my Mind Palace.
Oh,
Oh, I remember this one. Yeah, that didn't last long at all.
Actually, it looks like it was going for 4 years.
Really?
Yeah, I
Wow.
didn't feel like it was that long. Still, that's
We could probably do a full episode on failed MMOs. There was a period where I was playing every one that came out for the beta just to try it out. So I played a lot of the ones early 2000s.
So if I may, real quick, what is everybody's favorite game that they've played this year?
And GP says he doesn't troll.
But I do lie, so that's fine.
I am curious to hear what our listeners' goatees are this year, though, and do remember we do things differently around here. So it's your favorite game that you got into this year, not necessarily that released this year.
Yeah.
yes. So hence, Double Dragon for the Sega Master System is a viable option and respectable one.
Provided that's the only game you've played this year, yes.
Okay, look, asshole. You got to play this game and find out why it's my personal game of the year for 2020. Wait, 2019.
2019, right.
Wait, yeah, 2019.
Clearly it's a great game because we're still discussing it, 366 years or days.
Look, I bought an arcade stick. I put in $200 because I wanted a controller that I could do better in that game.
Did it
It
work?
better be something, game of something to me.
Game of the investment of the year.
Yeah.
That said, we only have a few days left that I can do this. Happy birthday, K-Biz.
Happy birthday,
Happy
K-Biz.
birthday, K-Biz.
Happy birthday, K-Biz.
You guys are great. I love that we're here again. I can't believe it's already been a year since our last Game of the Year outing. So here's looking forward to 2021. You guys are great.
Fuck yeah!
Thank you for being along for the ride with us.
Are you talking to me or are you talking to the people listening?
I'm talking to the people listening.
Okay, yeah, not everything's about me. You're right. I'm so sorry.
You were one of the people driving.
Is that why we haven't gotten anywhere?
Why are we still in this roundabout?
Right, yeah. Because I love Zimbabwe. Chill.
We love you, Zimbabwe.
Did you see it? He turned left.
All right, guys. Y'all are great.
Any complaints, please send them to Care of the Retro Therapy.
_ at
By retro.
Oh my God, yes.
There you go.
All right, like Werewolf said though, anybody who wants to get involved in this, please join our Discord, tag us on Twitter, tag us on any of the social media, or email us. I mean, if you want the snail mail from me to read it, then I'll read it. I'm just saying, I like postcards. I haven't gotten one of those since I was like 11. So either way, get in on the conversation. We'd love to hear from you, and we always do.
Yes.
What he said.
Do we stop now?
Do we tell people where they can find us?
Yes.
Oh shit.
We don't have to.
Find me at twitch.tv/Palsh109, PALSH 109.
Fuck. Okay, now I'm done.
That was GP from the Retro Therapy. No underscore.
No underscore.
You can find him at twitch.tv/the Retro Therapy.
Where can we find Sick Jake? I'm curious.
But now GP can say, starting next year, and you can find me as of 2020 at Retro Therapy, no underscore. Underscore free as of 2021.
Oh my God. You make it sound like it's herpes. I've been without an underscore flare up.
Is it going to come back?
God, I hope not.
Look, every 60 days it can change. That's all I'm saying. It can make an appearance. And I'm Sick Jake. You can find me on Twitter. And by the time this episode comes out, I'll probably be on Twitch again. I bought Dark Souls. And I mean it. I'll beat it this time.
Oh, no, save it for after the new year. That way we can know what your game of the year is going to be.
Well, I do have at least one game beaten, right? Fuck you, Kirby. Fuck you.
It's been a big year for you, Sick Jake, with that. That's great.
I was gonna say, and I'm Werewolf, WAREWULFF. Search me on Google. Tell it you meant it. That's how you'll find me.
I love it.
Nice. I love how that's part of the tagline now. Thank you.
Yeah.
I happened upon it one time when we were doing this, and it just stuck out with me. I loved it.
I'm thinking about changing the channel name again.
You got to look at the audiogram. I totally put a hyphen.
Yeah,
in
I
there.
can't believe I've looked at it. I was so taken aback when I saw that the first time. I'm like, this is beautiful. Okay, I'm stopping the recording.
Thanks, everybody. Special thanks for music. Go to Arthur the Last Ancient on Spotify or The Last Ancient on Bandcamp. For more episodes, please visit our website at pressbtocancel.com. As well, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe at Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, or anywhere else you'd like to listen to your favorite shows. As always, thank you. This has been
Press B to cancel.